Emma Lewis lived a quiet, predictable life in a small house just outside Portland. She was 42, graceful, kind, and had learned to find peace in solitude after her divorce 5 years ago. Her home was warm and filled with the scent of coffee and vanilla candles. To her neighbors, she was the elegant woman who smiled politely but never shared much. Inside, however, Emma often felt like a shadow of the woman she once was. She had spent so many years being careful with her words, her feelings, and especially her dreams. That Saturday, sunlight poured through her window as she stood before the mirror, trying on outfits for her friend Lily's engagement party. She hadn't attended a social event in months. Most of her days were spent working from home, reading, and walking her dog, Jasper. But Lily had insisted she come, saying, "You need to live a little again, Em." Emma smiled at the thought. She pulled out a cream-colored blouse and paired it with a navy blue miniskirt, a piece she hadn't worn in years. It had been buried in the back of her closet, a memory from a time when she felt confident and playful. She hesitated, holding it up against herself. "Maybe I'm too old for this," she murmured, half laughing. But something inside her whispered otherwise. She wanted to feel alive again, even just for one evening. She slipped into the skirt, adjusted her blouse, and looked in the mirror. To her surprise, she liked what she saw. It wasn't about being young. It was about feeling like herself again. She added light makeup, curled her hair, and for the first time in a long while, smiled at her reflection. Just as she reached for her purse, the doorbell rang. She frowned, glancing at the clock. It was early afternoon. No one ever visited her without notice. She walked to the door, heels clicking softly on the wooden floor, and opened it. Standing there was Ryan, her nephew. "Ryan?" she said, blinking in surprise. "What are you doing here?" Ryan, 24, tall and charming, gave her a sheepish grin. He was holding a coffee cup in one hand and a duffel bag slung over his shoulder. "Hey, Aunt Emma. I didn't mean to just drop by. My internship in Portland got extended, and my apartment lease ended. I was hoping I could stay here for a few days while I figured things out." Emma stared for a moment, surprised but touched. Ryan had always been her favorite nephew. He used to visit her every summer when he was younger, spending hours helping her in the garden or baking cookies in her kitchen. He was like the son she never had. "Of course, sweetheart," she said warmly, stepping aside. "Come in." "You don't have to ask," he smiled, walking past her, but then paused slightly, noticing her outfit. His eyes widened for just a second. Then he quickly looked away, clearing his throat. "Wow, you look different. You going somewhere?" Emma laughed softly, slightly self-conscious. "I have a friend's engagement party tonight. I wasn't sure about the outfits. Been a while since I wore something like this." Ryan gave a small nod, smiling. "You look great, Aunt Emma. Really, you should wear what makes you happy." The words caught her off guard. So simple, yet so genuine. She felt an unexpected warmth rise to her cheeks. "Thank you," she said softly. "It's nice of you to say that." She helped him settle in, showing him to the guest room down the hall. Ryan placed his bag on the bed and looked around. "Feels weird being back here," he said, smiling. "I remember sleeping in this room when I was a kid." Emma smiled too. "And eating all my cookies." He laughed. Some things never change. As she left him to unpack, Emma found herself smiling more than she had in weeks. It was comforting having someone else in the house, again the sound of movement, of life. She had grown so used to quiet evenings that even a few footsteps in the hallway felt strange and wonderful. Later that afternoon, as she got ready to leave, Ryan was sitting in the living room, flipping through an old photo album he'd found on the shelf. "You look so happy here," he said, pointing at a photo of her from 10 years ago. Emma leaned over and laughed. "That was before I learned what heartbreak feels like." Ryan looked up, his tone soft. "You're still that person, you know. You just forgot for a while." His words made her heart ache a little. She didn't know why they affected her so deeply, maybe because they came from someone who still saw her as more than the quiet woman everyone else did. She grabbed her purse and keys. "You always did have a way with words, Ryan. Maybe I got that from you,"